18 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. I'm looking forward to this next conversation. You know, I've been trying to eat healthier since the beginning of the year, Robin. I'm trying to, do things right. Sarah Jane Bedwell might have some information I can use. She's a registered dietitian. She's the official Eat Like Me food and nutrition blogger for Self Magazine, nutrition expert on CBS in Nashville, Channel 5, and her credentials go on and on and on. She wants to talk to us about the 6 sauces for success, going back to basics for healthy, delicious meals. Sarah Jane Bedwell. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Where are you right now? In Nashville?
I am.
You even got that Nashville voice. I love that. Do you sing?
Thank you.
Do you sing?
No, I wish I did. Only in the shower.
Ah, okay. So what kind of sauces are we talking about? Like tomato sauce?
Yes, we've got a sauce for everything. That's why there's 6 different ones. So tomato sauce is definitely one of them. It has to be a go-to. But I also have a vinaigrette, a pesto, a Honolulu barbecue marinade, a bechamel sauce, and even a porcini mushroom gravy.
Oh, really?
What is bechamel?
I don't know.
That is actually a French sauce. I'm so glad you asked. It's one of what they call the 5 French mother sauces that have kind of migrated into our cuisine. But it's basically a creamy white sauce that you think about in like Alfredo or in a macaroni and cheese. And we typically don't think of it as healthy, but I've made over the recipe to make it more heart healthy.
Oh, yeah. You know what I heard? Alfredo was a heart attack on a plate. That's what I heard. Have you ever heard that?
It can be, because typically it uses a lot of butter, and butter, of course, is high in saturated fat, which is the kind that's the worst for our hearts. So I replaced the butter in the recipe with canola oil because it is actually the lowest in saturated fat and the highest in heart-healthy plant-based omega-3s of all common cooking oils. So by making that one swap, you can still have this wonderful creamy sauce, but it's just going to start out in a way that's going to be much more heart-healthy.
So I have a question for you. Okay, tomato sauce. Let's go to that because that's the only one I really know. All right. Now, typically, the only way I ever eat tomato sauce is either like on a meatball sub or like on spaghetti, some kind of pasta. And I thought pasta and all that bread on a sub are both no-nos in a dietitian's book.
Well, you certainly want to choose whole grains whenever you can. And I don't know if you've tried any of the whole grain pastas, but when they first came out, they weren't so good, but they have improved them so much. Nowadays, you can get some really amazing tasting whole grain pasta, and that's going to be high in fiber, higher in protein. That's a great choice for your pasta.
Really?
Is it better to...
Your breads. You want to look for 100% whole grain with your breads.
Is it better to serve pasta hot with as a hot dish or cold? Because doesn't cold lose some of its nutrients?
Well, you can do it either way, and the cold actually won't lose any of the nutrients, especially if you are adding like a sauce or a pesto to it, which is going to provide even more nutrition. But the advantage to a cold, like a pasta salad, is that when carbohydrates like pasta cool down, they actually increase in what's called resistant starch, which is basically like a type of fiber. So that's a good thing in a sense as well.
So is a sauce and a dressing the same thing? Because I always thought vinaigrette was considered a dressing.
Me too.
Like for a salad.
Basically, a dressing is like a sauce for your salad when you think about it.
Okay, so it's the same thing.
It has the components of a sauce. So it has some acidity, it has some fat in it, and so that's what makes it a sauce and a dressing. Because you could definitely use vinaigrette on other things as well. Of course, it dresses up salad greens beautifully, but even pouring it over some roasted vegetables would be a wonderful way to add flavor.
Oh, that does sound good. Do you know what I always have noticed, and just comment on this, it may not apply to the topic at hand, but if I go and get a can or a jar of like tomato sauce with garlic in it, it never tastes like it does when somebody who really knows how to make tomato sauce with garlic in it. It never tastes the same as like the lady at the Italian restaurant makes.
It's not the same, and that's really why it's a great idea to make your sauces yourself, because whereas the jarred sauce at the store may just have like a garlic powder in it, you can put fresh garlic in a sauce that you make at home. So even if you're starting with canned diced tomatoes, which is something that I do sometimes, I'm still adding in the fresh onions, the fresh garlic, the basil, the parsley, the red wine, all of those flavorful elements that are really going to give it that fresh taste when you think about a homemade tomato sauce.
What about gravies? Because, you have turkey gravy at Thanksgiving, and then when you make chicken, you can have chicken gravy, and then that's the part of the liquid that comes off when you're cooking it. Is it better to make gravy that way, or can you buy it in a can or a jar, and will it taste the same?
It definitely won't taste the same. And, they make some kind of like powdered gravies that you can add milk or water to, but really they aren't going to taste nearly as good. And to make a gravy a healthier way, starting with like a neutral flavored oil like the canola oil, and then really letting those meat flavors shine. And of course you can use, drippings from a roast, for instance. But in my recipe, I actually use a lower sodium chicken stock.
Oh.
And that really adds great flavor, but it keeps it more heart healthy. And then I've added in the porcini mushrooms, which are dried, but they reconstitute in warm water, and that adds that really savory flavor, because porcini mushrooms actually have this kind of what we call umami, or really savory.
Umami. I think I used to say that. I stopped saying that, though.
Actually, they've added that to the taste profile. So, you have sweet and salty and bitter. Umami is now one of them. So it's that meaty, savory flavor that we all love.
Sarah Jane, we have a couple of calls coming in. Do you want to take some?
Sure.
Okay. Good morning. Thank you for waiting. You're on the air with Sarah Jane Bedwell.
Yeah, good morning, good morning. Yes, a lot of people object to the bitterness of tomato sauce, and how you take the bitter out of tomato sauce without putting in a bunch of sugar is to dice up a carrot.
Have you ever heard of that, Sarah Jane?
Yeah, dicing up a carrot. That is a great idea, especially if it's a roasted one, because that would add some of that natural sweetness. And that is a great idea. I usually do put a pinch of sugar in my tomato sauce, and a little goes a long way in taking the bitterness away. But the carrot is a great idea. I love that.
And he said it's some ground cloves, too, before he hung up. He said something about ground cloves. Do you do that?
Oh, perfect. I haven't thought about the ground cloves, but that does sound absolutely delicious.
So I'm never going to remember all this. Have you written a book about this?
Well, I do have a book, and we actually also have all of these recipes online at canolainfo.org.
Canolainfo.org. Okay, that's where I'll have to go, because I'll never remember this. I think I'm going to try some of these things. I don't know on what, though.
Because they're super simple, and they really do make any meal taste way better.
So I'm thinking about the vegetable. You gave me that idea. Do you like cheese sauce? I like cheese sauce.
Yeah, and that's basically kind of like what's your bechamel sauce.
Oh, that's the bad one.
Yeah, making it yourself is definitely a much better option than some of the processed cheese food type sauces out there on the market.
Oh, really?
Do you have any kind of sauce for fish?
I really love the pesto sauce on fish, because it's really, light and bright with the basil and the garlic flavor, and I think it just is perfect on like a grilled or poached fish, because it adds flavor, but it's not overpowering either.
Is it difficult to make that at home, a fish?
No, the pesto is super easy. You just combine all of the ingredients in a food processor, or if you don't have a food processor, you could use a blender. So it's the basil, the Parmesan, the pine nuts, garlic, salt, pepper, and then you just drizzle the canola oil in slowly. And since that has a neutral flavor, the basil and everything is going to shine, and it's just a really beautiful, silky smooth springtime sauce.
So the website is canolainfo.org, and tell me about the book you wrote.
And so the book I wrote is called Schedule Me Skinny, and the subtitle is Plan to Lose Weight and Keep It Off in Just 30 Minutes a Week. So it all comes down to the planning. And that's why I love the idea of these sauces as well, because, if you make a couple of these at the beginning of the week, then you're set to have great meals. You've already got a plan in place for the rest of the week, because I really think when it comes to healthy eating, planning is key, and that's what my book is all about. And
real quickly, I just went to your website, the Honolulu Barbecue Marinade. Is that? Tell me about that.
Yes, so that is delicious. I love it on like grilled pork tenderloin, but you could use it on vegetables as well. It's got fresh ginger, pineapple juice, the heart healthy canola oil, dark brown sugar, a little bit of low sodium soy sauce. Absolutely delicious.
The salt has to be kosher, it says here. It says 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt.
Oh.
Yeah, kosher salt has a really great texture, so it's going to dissolve really easily into the marinade.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. And ginger, 1 knob of fresh ginger, a knob.
Oh.
I don't think I've ever bought ginger in my life.
Not like that.
I used to think about ginger in Marianne.
It looks like a root, but yeah, you just cut off a little piece of the ginger to use for this recipe.
Sarah Jane, thank you so much for being on the show. You have such a list of credentials. It's a true honor to be able to say you were on our show. So thank you for being on the show. And everybody else, go to the website. I've been looking at it for the last minute or so. canolainfo.org, and you'll get the recipes we just found out about. The 6 sauces for success. Actually, be healthier and not give up any of the flavor.
Yes.
Exactly. Well, thank you all for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Sarah Jane. All right, we will take a little break, and we'll be right back. Fun with Joe in just about 10 minutes from now. This is The Source, WOCA Ocala.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. 30 criminal counts, 17 carry the death penalty. That's what jurors are considering in deliberations of the Boston Marathon bombing trial of Johar Tsarnaev.
During yesterday's closing arguments, prosecutors showed the jury the video of the bombing, showing Tsarnaev walking down Boylston Street, placing the bomb-filled backpack on the ground behind a group of kids. Defense attorney Judy Clark said her client was just following the plan hatched by his older brother.
Fox Radio's Tanya J. Powers. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul jumping into the 2016 presidential race, announcing it on his campaign website.
Rand Paul embracing an outsider label. His message here: defeat the Washington machine. Part of a libertarian bend he hopes attracts young voters and grows the GOP.
Fox Radio's Jared Halpern in Louisville, Kentucky. In Chicago, voters are casting ballots in the city's first mayoral runoff. Incumbent Rahm Emanuel facing a challenge from Cook County Commissioner Jesus Garcia. Fox News, we report, you decide.
And now, another golf confessional, brought to you by Golfsmith. A man told his boss he was going to the proctologist so he could skip out of work and try the latest golf gear at Golfsmith. This gave him ample time to have his ball flight analyzed in a Golfsmith hitting bay, and then have their experts custom fit his new clubs. It was a perfect plan, because nobody wants to know about your appointment with the proctologist. Free custom fitting, part of the Golfsmith Fairway. Golfsmith, anything for golf.
Superstorms, road closures, flooding, airports snowed in. If you travel for work like I do, news like that can ruin your whole day. It did mine, until I discovered Citrix GoToMeeting online meeting software. With GoToMeeting, you can meet from anywhere using your computer, tablet, or smartphone. No expensive travel required. And with HD video, you simply turn on your webcam and it's just like being in the same room, which means you can stay productive no matter what the news brings.
Visit GoToMeeting.com and start our free 30-day trial.
Hello, gorgeous.
Hi, this is Becky at Hello Gorgeous Salon. We are located in the heart of downtown Ocala, right next to the historic Marion Theater. I'd like to invite you to stop by and see our new boutique area and meet our staff of professional stylists. Here at Hello Gorgeous, we are ready to update your look with the latest trends. It's the perfect time to brighten up your look. So make your appointment now for those highlights and Brazilian blowout. But don't stop there. We are a full-service salon offering manicures, pedicures, and facials also. So if you've been searching for a salon to call your own, come and see us at Hello Gorgeous Salon. We are located at 48 South Magnolia Avenue in downtown Ocala, right next to the Marion Theater. So call today and set up your appointment at Hello Gorgeous Salon at 351-5358. That's 351-5358. And don't forget, we also do men and children's cuts too. 351-5358.
Hello, gorgeous.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
Fresh pressed juice, blends made with beets especially, can build up on your teeth, and as little as one juice a day could stain your smile permanently. A contaminated stethoscope pressed against the skin of a healthy patient probably won't cause a problem. I love that. Thanks for the probably. If we indulge ourselves in a few extra hits of the snooze button or a long mid-afternoon nap, we're just creating a template for our brain to stay awake in the middle of the night.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Here are today's headlines from The Source, WOCA. The city of Ocala is in mourning today. One of Ocala's finest was tragically killed in a shooting accident while training at a firing range at Lowell Correctional Institution. The fallen officer is identified as 33-year-old Jared Forsyth. Officer Forsyth was with the Ocala Police Department for 3 years. A report in the Star Banner states that the accident occurred while Forsyth and another officer, whom is not named in the report, were in an area where weapons are cleaned. The report continues to state that the second officer's weapon discharged, striking Forsyth in the arm, then passing through his arm and into his chest. Forsyth died while in surgery at Ocala Regional Medical Center. American and Florida state flags at the Ocala Police Department headquarters are at half-staff, as well as at other locations in the community. A Lake County homeowner is taking her developer to court this week, saying her community never built the equestrian center promised when she moved in 2007. Sarah McKenzie still has the brochure from when she moved into the Sullivan Ranch community in Mount Dora. Along with lush rolling hills, it promises, quote, horses grazing near our privately owned equestrian center, unquote. The site plan shows its location near the clubhouse. Today, you will find double fencing for a riding area along the front of the Mount Dora community, but no horses nor any equestrian center. That has prompted McKenzie to file a lawsuit against Centex, the builder of the community. She said they have had ample time, and with more than 500 homes, Sullivan Ranch is nearing build-out completion. McKenzie said after talking to neighbors, she has discovered an addendum to new homeowners' contracts that leads her to believe the builder no longer has any plans of building the equestrian center. She said those documents say planning has been approved for multi-family apartments that she believes will replace the equestrian center. Dozens of neighbors said they plan to attend the hearing before the Lake County judge, which is scheduled for this morning. Governor Rick Scott has reversed course on Medicaid expansion. He had been a reluctant supporter of it, but now opposes the idea. The president of the state Senate, however, says it's not over yet. Scott has claimed the feds can't be trusted to uphold their end of the deal, but Senate President Andy Gardner says there's been lots of misinformation. Gardner told reporters that he learned last week that, contrary to what was being said, the federal government never broke off negotiations on CMS. He said that one of the people involved in negotiations had just said he would be out of town while on vacation. Gardner says it's up to the governor to suggest an alternative. Gardner warns that without Medicaid expansion, there will be a $2 billion hole in the state budget. A hole that size will make it a lot harder to pay for the tax cuts at the top of the governor's legislative wish list. And Volusia County Sheriff's Office says a 39-year-old Deltona man was arrested after making a false bomb threat directed at a Dollar General store. The store, according to deputies, is right across the street from the defendant's house. In a release from the Sheriff's Office, the phony bomb threat was made in a brief 911 call to